Live.
We're in.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome.
So we'll just give it a minutes for people to join in, but we can see there's a couple of people dialed in already. We've not done this before, so bear with us. We can see already, Mark, there's 3 people joined, so that's 2 more than we thought.
I get it, yeah.
So that's good news. So what we're going to do today is have a quick intro, tell you a little bit about ourselves, give you an update on the project. We've got some questions from the VIP page, which we'll go through, and then we'll do the all-important draw to see who's a lucky person who'll get to work with Mark and our design team to get their card in the game.
Cool.
Then basically we'll just give you a big thanks for joining us and for supporting us, and that's it. So just give it another couple of minutes while we're waiting for people. So whilst we're starting, let's tell us a little bit about ourselves and what we've done in the game. So why don't you start, Mark?
Cool, right. So my name's Mark. A lot of people have met me at UK Games Expo and many of the conventions we've done the last couple of years. I was kind of wiggly at the very start of this game in terms of what we wanted to make, what we wanted to design, and the idea of a card game coming from potentially a board game, but this idea of going back in time and doing missions of different eras of things that we've talked about, and having an idea that both we thought a while back now, we're talking about 3 or 4 years ago, and actually being part of the design team that created the cards, created the flavor text, created the story and the lore of the game, and then bring it for the first time for the company, a bigger box game as such. Because previous games we've had have all been like smaller family-sized games, haven't they? So in our black division now here at Molinarius Games, we've now had this chance to make something a bit bigger. And those people that have had these demonstrations the last couple of years, you've had demonstrations and attempts at levels we've made. But yeah, being a big bit about the driving force of development, playtesting, etc., etc. So what have you done, Lee, for Time Troopers?
So I guess I'm the nuts and bolts guy. So I make sure the production is running smoothly, the manufacturing and the kind of the project management piece, I guess, for one of the better phase, working with the artists and game designers like Mark and the musician Tim, and kind of stitching it all together to basically make sure the finished product is what you want to play. And we've heard some great things about it already, so that's good. So that's us as an intro. So to give you an update on where we're at with Time Troopers, we're delighted to say the e-proofs have gone off to the manufacturer. So all 470 cards are now being checked, manufacturers. They'll come to us via an e-proof, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of a digital PDF file of all of the cards, the fronts and the backs. So Mark and I'll go through those and make sure there's no spelling mistakes and everything's lined up correctly. The back of the card lines up with the front of the card, that kind of thing. So we're much further ahead than I would say Kickstarters or game found campaigns of this size normally are at this stage. But I think that's because we've done all of the work in the background before the campaign. The dice already. The only thing that's not finished at the moment is the mission book, and that's because we're tweaking it a little bit. We've added some more bonus content, which we won't go into because I don't want to spoil any surprises, and just make sure there's no more spelling mistakes in there. So we're hoping by the end of this week, early next week, everything will be off to our manufacturing, and then there'll be a kind of a 2-week waiting period while we get all of the e-proofs back, at which point we'll be able to share those with you, and we'll be able to give you a much more concise timeline as to when we'll be able to ship the content to you and start opening up the pledge manager. But it's going to be fast, as we said, we're ready to go. So that's all great news as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. If you've got any questions on this, the live chat's open, or feel free to email us or send us a message on GameFound. We love hearing from you guys, and if anything's not clear, feel free to message us. Yeah. So that's kind of the update status. So what's next, Mark?
Well, we have had quite a few questions from our VIP page, and I'd like to say this time, as Lisa at the start, just to thank you everyone. I think we're just under 500 backers here, and a massive thanks to all of you on the Facebook page, the VIP page, or just if you are watching this after we've gone live, who is back to make this game almost reality. It means massive things for us as a company. But I think it's important that those people on that VIP page who have devoted a lot of time and effort into it, I think we've got about 5 or 6 questions from there. So we'll just kick off. I'll ask a question, and then we'll try and get an answer from one of us. So first of all, then, Lee, what have been our biggest issues at Molinarius getting a game this size produced?
It's a good question. I think the artwork is normally the biggest thing. So it's taken us a year and a half to collaborate all the artwork. So we've done all that in the background before we've finished the campaign. And I can see now our games of this size take 2 years to build because you're waiting for all this artwork, particularly when you have so many cards. Yeah.
So long.
And because we don't use AI or anything like that, every piece of artwork takes, 2 days to get one picture sometimes, and then you want to make a change. So doing that at the front end, which was a decision we made quite early on, I think was great. So that's something which was not a challenge for us, but I think other companies, I can see now why it takes so long for games to be made. I guess the biggest issue in getting a game produced is standing out in the market. So we're very lucky that people who've joined this chat, like Becky and Stu and Ruth and other people, and Craig and Becky, have been able to spread the word for us. But at the end of the day, we are a small indie company, and so going from 500 backers to 5,000 backers, we would need to put a lot of money in to do marketing, which we just don't have. And so that's been the biggest issue for us. Everyone that plays the game loves it. Everyone that's demoed it has backed it. But unfortunately, we just don't have the manpower to demo it with thousands and thousands of people all at once. So that's been the biggest challenge and frustration is we know we've got a great game. We just can't get it out to enough people at once. What would be your biggest issue?
I think, just noting on that actually, I think the idea when we talked about making a game this size is obviously we've not gone this deep or this big as such in terms of scale. I think trying to keep our heads above water in this like quite large market of deck builders, deck construction games, deck management games where the game is purely just cards. We've got a selling point or a USP of our game is in the box. There's no added expansions. It's not going to be like a drip feed throughout the time frame is like the eras as such. We just wanted to make a game that we loved playing, we loved developing, and the game that we would play solo, slightly co-op at times, but to be a solo purist, to keep it different and with so many games that could be similar scene and that are big hitters and are big, like I said, Molinarius is only a small company. We're growing, but we're a small company. We're a small fish as such, but in such a big market. I think that's the hardest thing. And you're right. Everyone who's played the game, everyone who's seen the game in front of them, the feedback has been super. The feedback has been so positive, and that's why for the 500 people who backed it, we know that this game is going to come to fruition. And it's our job now to make sure that the cards, the rule book, the mission book, everything is tip top, ready for that early to 2026 release. Great. The last part I think I'd say in terms of the biggest issue would be advertising. All of our smaller games we've kind of come through and we are on the socials, we've gone face-to-face selling, etc. But to get a game where you'd want it to appeal to the masses, and it's the first time we've used the companies in actually a small advertising campaign in terms of getting it in front of people. But like you said, a nod to all those people who are watching live, or the people that watch this and the backers. We can't thank you enough for if Lee sent you a copy to demo or just to play test or just to play through it for several times.
Yeah, the community.
Massive,
really great. That's
especially the indie company that you were kind of attached to.
They've marketed the game probably more than we ever could. So a question from Bob from the VIP page was for you, Mark. What surprised you the most or caught you off guard about the campaign?
I think two things actually. I think the speed. So when, again, probably it was on my side actually when we were talking about the first few days, the speed of it took up how I just thought, wow, here we go. First of all, how popular it was going to be, and it went for the first 48, 72 hours. We were on a right roller coaster up and then getting numbers are going up. And I was like, this could be crazy. However, the one that has surprised me in terms of, and you can't see on camera here, but I might see them off camera, the add-ons. So we've never done a Kickstarter where you might add on bits and bobs to it or a game fan pledge, but the time gate popularity, and when you let me know and said we could order some more or get some more made ready, was probably just outrageous. I thought for what you're going to get in the game and to add on these extras, I mean, I'm a board game fan and I would back things to the hill, but just these little things you thought as a designer, as a developer, you wouldn't think that's that popular, like that's sellable.
The time gates have been really popular.
Yeah, really good.
And when we initially did them, it was just to give away 200 to the first 200 backers, and then as soon as we did that,
people wanted it.
People were like, "Oh, can I buy more? Can I buy more?" We weren't expecting that. No. That was great. I think for me, the biggest surprise is the difference the music's made.
Oh, yes.
So Tim Clay, the musician. So we've not shared all the music with you guys yet, but we will do very soon. Just this week, we were playing a kind of Viking sea shanty, which is so great.
Brilliant.
And playing the game with that music in the background, that's been a huge surprise to me, how much more immersive it is, having that music on for each level. So I can't wait to get that out there.
It's one of those things that we do as like a solo player, and then you say to someone, "Oh, we've got via Spotify, we've got this from Tim Clay," and they're like, "That's amazing, I do that." And I used to go, I was actually a little bit like skeptical, thinking, would people put music on whilst they're playing a game? But to put your headphones in and just take yourself away from life for like an hour or two, and then like you said, the quality that's coming from Tim, I just think that's been the biggest surprise to backers and people who buy the game. Hopefully, into the new year to retail.
We need to get as much music as we can from Tim, because it's going to be really expensive.
It could be the one thing where people go, it's something we add into games, because there's a few nods to it around here and there. You can find them, but you'd normally find your own playlist. We did it before. We played a few games, I won't name them, but we played a few games where you'd find some on Spotify as a playlist for it. But we've got a specific era timeline song composed artist. It's just a brilliant nod to like the era you're playing, and it just feels enriches the experience.
So just to let everyone know that's watching, and so it will be available on Spotify and YouTube, and we will also save all the files as MP3s on our website, so you'll be able to download them. So if you don't listen to any of those channels, you can still get them as well. And that's all completely free as part of the game.
Okay, super. So our third question we've got here on the page here, it says it's been rumoured, but there's rumours of a sequel. If so, and if there is something here, we may know, or other people might know, what sort of theme, what sort of timelines can we expect to discover if Time Troopers 2 is actually a real thing?
So I think this was my fault at UK Games Expo.
Definitely.
Chatting to a few people and getting really excited, and I let slip, I think,
mention no names.
That we penciled in a sequel if this does really well. And so I don't say too much, because I can't explain where the sequel picks up without ruining the end of Time Troopers. So we've called it Season 2, just because we feel it's not an extra board game. It's more thematic. It's more like a follow-on from the last one. We haven't done any work on it yet.
Nothing.
We don't have any. We have some concepts and some rough sketches of the story, where we want the story to go, but we don't have any levels designed yet, because all our time is purely focused on getting on this finished and out to you guys as soon as possible. But if people want it, we think we could do that over the next 12 to 18 months as well. And we've got a lot of ideas in terms of maybe some Ice Age, some mammoths, some saber-toothed tigers. I don't want to give too much away, but there's so much history for us to delve into, and so many human stories. So I was supposed to say tight-lipped and say, "Oh, we don't know if we're going to do it or not," but we really want to do it.
So the 7 people that are live right now, you've heard it here first. There is Time Troopers 2, but we just have no idea when it's going to start. But let's get Time Troopers 1 out there and get you guys playing that, and then from that, I think. And that really sent the nods to the era is the most conversations I've had when playtesting, where people said, "I love you've gone this way. I love this era. You could use this one." And one of the early days before we even got cards done, where we were drafting on the whiteboards, actually in this room, we were saying certain areas we didn't want to go towards. We wanted to keep it here. We wanted that because of, and the reasons why they might come out through the lore of the game. But I just think, yes, the one thing he's not mentioned, which I know someone who is probably listening to this right now, is, will it be a dueling game? Will it be a dueling game come out? Will it be a 2-player game? There's questions that are already thrown around here. We've talked about, but in terms of, we know that with how the game looks due to our graphic design, and that's a matter to our graphic design artist, and the quality of the artwork we've got, there's no reason why that just can't grow into another game.
Yeah, watch your space, I guess.
Definitely.
Okay, so last question, last before the draw, which I'm sure everyone's excited about. So this one's for you, Mark. Who is your favourite character in the game, and why? And what was your favourite era? And that's from Becky.
Okay. Becky. I remember Becky asking something very similar. Now, my favourite era from I did this twice actually on Facebook and on our socials. My favourite era is the Mongolian Empire, and I think that nods to Genghis Khan at the 3rd level, and that's so it's like 6 or 7 of the chapters that we'll go through. Just because in terms of developing that, he's going to check that, isn't he? Just because in terms of designing that and playtesting some of that, how those levels
ramp up and how that game changes from point 1 to point 2 to point 3, there's a real nod.
Yeah, so it's 8.1 to 8.4
to 4. The fact of and being part of that, and actually that's the first time I sat down 18 months ago, excuse me, and almost tried to find out a little bit more about the history. Being a teacher myself, but not a history teacher, I wanted to make sure the era or the card or the weapon or the theme of the level actually fit and didn't seem a little bit like too disjointed. So definitely Mongolian Empire, definitely wait for Genghis Khan in 8.3, 8.4, and you'll work out why. And that's something to do with a messenger or a prisoner, but we'll talk about that later. Favorite character now. So character, there's two cards. I'm not going to be carrying new cards. There's 2 cards in the game I like that no one at the minute has seen. So the first one is, and believe me, this is a Scorpion tank. Is that correct, Lee? As you know, nod here, knowing I'm not going to say too much about the keyword, what happens here, but if you imagine a load of tucked cards behind a card, and when that tank is either opened or destroyed, the tucked cards behind the card, obviously like the tank door's opening, they all pop out and all hell breaks loose, which is fun because we played that one and I can't wait you to play it. And the second nod to the card that I like the most, which I've just about finished now, which you're going to see the first proofs, is the drone selection you can unlock. So the drones are up to 4 cards, and they are literally just these side aids to your deck that you can add into your deck. They're not that powerful, but put as a 4, not as a 1, and you build them up, they become real assets to your kind of deck. That's a great question, Lee. So why don't you do the same? What's your favorite character, and who's your favorite hero?
I'm going to be controversial.
Of course,
my favorite era is 9.1 to 9.3, which is the future.
Wow.
And I think it's because it's at the end of the game, and I also think it's because it's the levels that I didn't design, it's the levels you design. So it's much more enjoyable for me to play that. If there's any designers listening, you'll understand where if you're playing your own work, you're constantly marking your own homework, if you like, and saying, oh, that would be better if I did that. So I'm able to just relax and enjoy. 9.3 is, for me, chef's kiss. It's just the best level of the game.
I remember actually, we pitched it at my house, remember? The very next day, I pitched the idea, Lee loved it, and then the next day he sent me an image or a WhatsApp video of you making the actual level, and he said it worked, and when you know that, you'll find out in 9.3, when it works, the cards, the flipping, the switch off,
it's the crescendo, it's the final
unreal.
And it's where you as troopers are fighting the scorpions for the future, and using all of the unlocks and using all of the secret cards and everything else you've gathered through the rest of the game, and decisions you've made or not made can come back to haunt you. And so it's just such a brilliant ending. So I really like that.
What about your character?
My favourite character in the game is...
Don't answer John's question. If you read John's question,
because
don't say that because I'll answer that in a second.
My favourite character in the game is... I quite like Cleopatra. I quite like Major. There's a lot of strong female characters in the game, which I really like, because there aren't a lot of female characters throughout history. There obviously are, but there aren't a lot in the time. A
nod to them,
yeah. So when we've had them, we've deliberately made them good cards and powerful cards. So Cleopatra is very good, but I think my favourite is an unlockable card called Titan, who's a scorpion. He's a bad guy, but he's a very, very powerful bad guy. And I think it'll be one of those cards, or one of those missions that you hate this guy, and when you finally beat him, you're like, yes. I think if you guys were all to get together one day and talk about which missions and which cards were the hardest ones to do, Titan would be at the top. So I saw a question come in from John, who said, did you design a character based on yourself?
I'll answer first and you can go second. I know, and John knows this, and John, thank you for listening, because John's one of my really, really good friends. John doesn't know yet. He's back the game, and I'll go have a playthrough with him very soon, actually, when he gets his copy. But there is a card based on myself. And then when you pitched the first set to us, and we were just like kind of spitballing ideas of cards and characters, and the theme of what a card would mean or what a character would actually do in the game, you've actually nicknamed a card Pally, who's actually a thief, is a stealthy character in the first. Yeah. So he's in the first deck you get, and actually me and Lee, with our background, we're good friends. We've been friends for years and years and years. We played sport together. He knows my nickname, actually. My surname being Pally, my nickname is actually Pally. So when John probably now realizes that Pally's in the game and the card looks nothing like me, Thanks, Lee. But it is actually me as a stealthy character to basically help you out in that first 3 missions, because you're not really going to construct. You're basically not going to take me out of the game. The first 3. Lee would definitely take me out after level 2, but you can keep that stealthy character in. But I did like John. It's a good question. I like the idea that we can have, because we're a small company and we answer to ourselves, or I answer to you. You're the boss, but you can put in what we want.
Yeah, we can put little Easter eggs in throughout the game. There's a character called Nala, which is a neutral artificial life aid, like a robot that helps you during missions, and that's also the name of my dog. So we've put lots of little nods like that into the game. There's pictures in the background of all of our games, actually.
Yes.
Mike Peacock, who's also in the company, has done similar things in Flippers. So we also hide pictures in all our artwork in games, which probably you will never notice unless someone picks it out. But there's lots of there's a couple of Molinarius logos hidden in games. My name is on one of the cards, but it's very subtly hidden. I've not even told Mark where it is yet, so that's an Easter egg for everyone to find out as well.
And recently I've actually spotted my initials on one of the cards, because Lee's pointed it out once to me. But yes, even that. I mean, having that. I think the words creative freedom, having these. Going to this company that we've created, even having, and you unlocked it for me. One day, Lee just popped an image back to me about 10 months ago, and it's basically a unlockable card of my kids. So in terms of not being my kids in the game, but having Arlo and Edie potentially as characters you could choose to play, I think it's just so rewarding for us, because it's a nod to something that we love and we're passionate about, and we can do that. We're not answering to someone saying, no, you shouldn't put that name in. It's up to us. And again, which draws on brilliantly, because we're going to the draw now, where actually someone either watching now, or out of the 490-ish people that have backed this game, Lee's going to describe what's going to happen next, because we're going to spin the wheel, which is amazing, by the way, and we're going to find someone who's going to basically put themselves on a card. Is that right? They're actually going to put themselves on a card, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So talking about putting yourselves in the game, here's your opportunity, guys, to put yourself in the game, or one of your loved ones, or anyone you like, really, if it's a character you've always thought about. The question we didn't print out, but that Becky raised just before we came on live, was: is there going to be any merchandise? So Mark is nicely wearing the Time Troopers merchandise, which you can get at Shirts and Merch, who are a UK-based company. And maybe we'll have some more things in the future. So yeah, it comes in lots of different colours. I think Becky's got a black one already. So yeah, that's good.
Of course she has, of course.
So I'm going to attempt to share the screen, and we'll do the draw. So fingers crossed, and good luck, everyone. Good luck for me to see if I can share the screen, because I've not got my glasses on.
Have we explained that based in this wheel they're going to see in a second, it's got everyone's name on the outside. They can't read it because it's so small. So they can still hear us. Yep,
everyone can still hear us. I hope it looks like that for everyone. I'll go back to the main screen so I can click on the wheel. So around the outside of the wheel, there's 550 entries. So around the outside of this wheel is your backer number. So what we will do is when we click go, it will come up with your backer number. Obviously, for data protection, we don't want to be putting people's names or email addresses on there. So if you find out your backer number, don't worry if you don't know what it is, because we'll reach out to the person that's won.
Do it
afterwards. Yes. And if they're happy to share their name, then obviously we can put that in the next update. But yeah, so without further ado, we'll get started. Is everyone ready? Okay, drum roll. Good luck, everyone. Here we go.
Oh my days. Got the wheel. Can we get the wheel in the game somehow?
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it?
Thank you for saying that right now. It should be like, oh.
So the winner is... Oh.
Here we go.
Back number 117. Congratulations, backer 117. So let me stop sharing the screen. In the background, I can see what country backer 117 is from whilst we're waiting. So 117 is from the United States of America. Ooh. So well done, backer 117. Congratulations. We'll be reaching out to you. And based on that, Mark, as well, a little interesting fact. So of all of our backers, the UK was the most popular country, and the US second, and then Germany third.
How many countries can you tell in total?
31 different countries.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool. And if you really want to know, the most popular first name of backers was Michael. We had 11 Michaels back in the game.
11 Michaels. Thank you, Michael.
Stats,
11 times.
if you need that. So yeah, so I think that concludes the draw without sounding like an FA Cup.
Yeah. All ties were played between the times of 15th to 16th of December. Thank you very much.
Sorry to Becky and Stu, who said we should have drawn number 50.
Oh, sorry,
Apologies.
Becky.
But yeah, just want to say thank you to everyone that's joined us on the stream. It's a lot more people than we thought were going to join. And thank you to everyone who's obviously backed the game.
Yeah, and I'm just saying second that, Lee. As we said earlier on, but I think, again, and to everybody that watches this after it's gone live, the fact that we made a game, but this could not have been produced without the just under 500 people that backed it initially. And we know that going forwards that we're just going to get this made, get this printed, and get it out in the world, or the big world, and see hopefully how popular it can become. But thank you in the first instance, because without you lot, we wouldn't be here on a Friday evening doing a video for a live draw, and we wouldn't have made a game that we hopefully you love so much.
Yeah.
So thank you all.
Definitely. We'll let you go enjoy your Friday evenings now. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.